Welcome, everybody. I'm John Soniga. Sitting in my office. I'm actually sitting in Erica's office.
Hello.
I'm MHealthy Thrive manager. Erica is our program manager for nutrition. This is our last of the holiday series, 'Tis the Season. I'm going to wait a minute to let some more folks get in the room, and then we'll start. All right, this is our final in the series, which began way back in early November. This one's entitled Being Content This Season. If we review back to the beginning, this is the slide we started with before Thanksgiving, and to talk about, well, what season are we talking about? I like to remind folks that we go November all the way through January. So sometimes we think of the holidays as an event, a day, but it really is an entire season. So it's a time for you to focus all the way through January. After we get to New Year's and other traditions to keep it going forward. And we've talked about a number of things, haven't we, Erica? We've talked about food, nutrition,
Activity.
There's been a webinar on tobacco use, watching our indulgences, particularly with alcohol. So we've talked about, last week we talked about being generous and budgeting. So today we're going to try and bring it all together a little bit to link this series together. And it's been very wonderful that you're all here, and thank you for listening. So we're talking about being content today. This is a slide we started with as well. Take a moment to reflect for yourself. What are these holidays a time for? Take a minute. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? We have this discussion around our office, and it's always a lot of fun, where we say, what's the first thing? And there's usually a lot of diversity. People say, well, comfort and joy. I'm really looking forward to things. Family and friends. We're getting together. I have to plan to see people I haven't seen before. Being hectic and busy. We hear a lot about that. Even today, somebody asked me, am I done with my numbering? I don't think I've reached that point yet. And we do hear about stress and worry during the holidays for a variety of reasons. So what came to your mind? So we like to acknowledge both of those dimensions, the pressures and the pleasures. And hopefully we can move it a little bit more towards the pleasures. So we talk about expectations and intentions. We talked about this early on. What are your hopes for this holiday season? What would you like to have happen? Can we be intentional? Do you just want to survive? I have people tell me that. Let's get through this. It's a way to think about it. To flourish. Do you really want it to go well? Be in line, to boost your ability to do things, to renew. We get some time off occasionally. These are holidays throughout the season. It's also the winter. We haven't had much snow yet, but it's a time that we do take to renew. And then, did you say, what? I want to be healthy during these holidays. Sometimes that's a challenge, which is why this series has been there. So we'd like you to make positive, healthy, and intentional choices, to put some intention, some effort into this. This takes practice. So we say be intentional. Now, be intentional about what? I always like, this one is, can you plan to be happy? What do you think, Erica?
I think there's a yes and a no. You can plan that you would like to get through a situation in a happy way, and even if things go wrong or you get some bumps along the way, having that thought in your head of, let's put on my happy face, think calmly, use my head, wrap around this and really think before I react. And I just want to be happy and deal with things in the best way possible.
That's a wonderful answer, that we can plan both to be happy when things are going well, but also when we have those bumps in the road. But we can make plans for those. So we can plan to be happy. We can prepare to be healthy. We spend a lot of time structuring things, and I learned a lot of great tips by participating in this myself. Eric has helped me a lot with my portion size and other ways for me to be active, but now I have to prepare to do those things and keep going. And also integrating some of the new things you've learned when we do these webinars. I get new tips to make new traditions. I learned some wonderful things last week from Catherine Greiner on budgeting, which is helpful for me. And we want to look forward to the season rather than look past it.
And when we were talking about the indulgences webinar, we were talking about looking forward to the season, planning things so that you can be prepared. This is how I would like things to go so that I get to the end of the season at the goal that I set for myself.
At the goal, and planning your indulgence. Planning is a big message, and that's why we like to say be intentional. But we'll talk today about contentment, which is my area of stress relief, how important it is to plan to be happy. It's important for all of our health behaviors. So I'm wishing you peace and happiness. I just got a card yesterday from one of my office mates. The Happy Holidays card says peace, love, and joy. I've gotten several of those. Very common during the holidays. What does that mean, peace and happiness? So we do like to focus on the simple gifts. There's that wonderful old Quaker tune, simple gifts, 'tis good to be simple, 'tis good to be true. That's a good thing to keep in your mind during the holidays, for contentment. Simple gifts. Some of what we'll talk about today are giving thanks, expressing gratitude, seeing families and friends, making connections, new connections, being mindful of the good things. Mindfulness is very important for a lot of these health behaviors we're talking about. And there's a real opportunity here during the holidays. Pause, slow down, take time. There's a wonderful phrase I learned from a friend from Mexico, which they get off the clock. He says, give time to time. That he wants to give the gift of time and get off the clock, to slow down. We're so tied to the clock sometimes during the holidays. That is possible. We do talk about helping others during the holidays, being compassionate. That enlivens us. And then seek meaning in our traditions. So this is an outline of things you can do to be content. Gratitude, make connections, be mindful, take time, be compassionate, and seek meaning. Now, what we want you to be is your best self during the season. So let me ask you, what do you like best about yourself during the holidays? Take a moment to think about that. What do you like best about yourself? That's what we want to bring out. Erica?
Oh, no. Put me on the spot there,
Yeah.
John. Just a giving feeling of thinking that I want to spread joy and I want to spread happiness to others. Helps me feel good when I accomplish that goal as well.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful answer. So we all like that. That's the best part of yourself. You try to tap into that rather than we do have those bumps, as you've mentioned. I don't want to have myself be the bump.
Right? Yeah.
I want to bring out my best during the season to keep things going. And another way to think about that is what was your best holiday? Rather than think about yourself, you can think about what did we do to have such a good holiday and why? These things sometimes take a little bit of reflection, so you might think after this. It helps with your planning to think of are exemplars. We do this ourselves. What was my best? We tend to have a focus on when things go wrong, we can talk about it.
Yeah. What about when the good things happen?
When the good things
How did that happen?
Let's talk. This is a question I like to ask my friends. And we reminisce and savor a good time. Bring the best to the fore. How do we bring our best out and to really bring it there rather than perpetually put out fires or look for problems? Let's look for opportunities of good things. So one of the ways to do that is to cultivate gratitude. Want what you have. Give thanks. I tell this to my children frequently. They have a lot. And to learn to want what you have. This can pertain to activity and to food, giving thanks. I was so happy yesterday. I've been around so many sweets. Somebody put out a plate of vegetables. And I said, oh, thank you. I was grateful. It was put in front of me, and I said, that's what we have here, and I was giving a lot of thanks for that. Another thing, we talked about this last week, this is a good gift to give. Tell people what you cherish about them. To focus on the positive in them, to give thanks for them, share the wonderful times with them. This is one of my favorites. Practice smiling. Sometimes it's a simple thing. We're working on it here at the university sometimes. Practice smiling. A smile is a wonderful gift. It lets people know that you're thankful. It's gratitude. Bring out your smile and share them. And another way about gratitude is to look for inspiration in comparison with others. Sometimes we get envious or we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. But another way is to be grateful for what other people have. Boy, isn't it nice they have those things. Isn't it nice that folks do such wonderful things during the holidays? To look for inspiration in there. It's a great stress relief. Mindfulness. We want to grow our mindfulness. This is a wonderful slide with candles on it. Think of all the flames we light during the holidays for all of these holiday traditions in many different faiths. Light candles. It's also during the winter. We have a history of fires and candles. It's a wonderful thing to bring our focus to. Sometimes people intentionally, is that word intentional, light a flame to focus on. Take time to really notice things. Be aware of the sights, the sounds, the scents, the tastes, the feelings. Be aware of those. Let them come to you to savor and pass through. That all these things we're talking about doing for one another, the version that always comes to mind is how quickly children open their gifts sometimes. So you give them a gift, whether it's for their birthday or something else, you rip it open and move on to the next one. One at a time, slow down, and be mindful of what
That is a very good thought. We actually appreciate. I mean, went back to like you were talking about with foods and everything else, but really taking the time to appreciate right in front of you.
What's right in front of you, and to be aware, take a moment to enjoy things, to look at that. Even I have a family tradition with my brothers. We go for several runs during the holidays. We always go out for a run together, and I always like afterwards we take a moment just to sit, because usually we're pretty out of shape, and reflect and to enjoy that physical movement. So that's a good thing. Focus on the flame, as I said. Be mindful of your feelings and emotions, both positive and negative. Take time to notice how you feel. You can be in touch. We do have negative emotions. Let them come through your mind. Take a moment. And the positive. Just be in touch with your feelings during the holidays. And along those lines, with the feelings, we do like to cultivate positive emotions. They're wonderful things. They have a lot of beneficial effects on our health behaviors. They help us to adhere to our health behaviors. We tend to sleep better. We get along well with others when we're in a good mood. And we can spiral up rather than spiral down. So we try to grow our positive emotions. It takes practice. It's not an easy thing. We talk about joy, curiosity, amusement, gratitude, hope, inspiration, serenity, pride, and awe. Sometimes we are struck by awe and beauty that's available during this season. We have lots of things to be thankful for. And love, which I'd like to mention, encompasses all of the above, and it's often mentioned during the holidays. So think for yourself for a moment. When was the last time you felt these holiday-related emotions? That this is what you want to bring out, to be joyful. What the initial slide talks about. Serenity, have hope, amusement. What creates these for you? What uplifts your spirit? We all have different things. That I know in my household with my wife, a clean kitchen really puts her in a good mood. And I know that.
I would agree.
Right? It can be small things, and to be aware of that fosters those. That brings a smile to her face. It's not what uplifts my spirit, but I know that uplifts hers.
Mm-hmm.
Things. We also talk about when you're with others or when you're by yourself. Think about when do you experience positive emotions so you can start fostering them. That do you like to be in a crowd? Or perhaps when you're guided by purpose or passion. Things. Or you want to really think deeply and create your own positivity holiday of memories, words, objects, and situations. Part of the reason I think we give so many cards during the holidays is to cue those positive emotions. That we look at this card here, we have wonderful things. And I have my own little, you'll see people put out displays of cards, and those cue our positive emotions. And those are very good for us.
It almost makes you think about like just keeping them out all year long, or having something like that throughout the year as well.
Well, I do recommend, as I said, this is not a single day. If I think of it as a 2-month season, that it goes on and put us in there and do that. We also want to cultivate a positive social climate. Volunteering is a wonderful thing. Seeking out support in communities, it's a good way to lift your spirits. And we know when we do these things, it's good for us. And moves on. It's a great gift. Finally, I'd like to talk about making meaning. What do the holiday seasons mean? Reflect on that question for a moment. Move forward. What are we actually celebrating? What values do you think of at the holidays? Do we practice them? Sometimes there's a gap between what practice we employ. And we don't want to have a gap between our values and what we're doing. So I like to think, what rituals do I enjoy and which ones don't you enjoy? And I like to give yourself permission. If you don't enjoy that or that practice is not in line with your values, maybe that's a tradition that we need to change. And give yourself permission to do that and to bring those to the fore. So we do want to create a meaningful holiday that incorporates your individual values, reflects your priorities, which might be health, as we said at the beginning. You have to create a healthy holiday. It includes activities that bring you pleasure in life, that live through your strengths. Your values are your strengths. So we like to put them into action. And we talk about various values that people have. There are a long list. Wisdom and knowledge. Can you share wisdom? You like to talk about wisdom. Courage. Sometimes it takes a lot of courage. People are very courageous, particularly dealing with indulgences. People who are sometimes in recovery. Play to your courage. That's your strength. Humanity and love. People are, as Erica said, very generous and kind. That am I practicing what's in line with my values? Justice. Are things fair and good? Temperance is a big one. Moderation. Are you good at moderation? It's not one of my strengths, and I try to build it. But some people are very good at that and can share and feel good. Feel good about how they are able to moderate during the holiday. And then transcendence. You have people, this is my strength. There is a lot of spirituality. Can you tap into your spirituality to help you during the holidays? That was a quick quote that I like from John Steinbeck, the author, wrote a note to his son and talking about his son was in love, puppy love. And rather than diminish it, he said glory in it for one thing and be glad and grateful for it. The object of love is the best and most beautiful. Try to live up to it. We have these holiday seasons. Let's try and live up to them in a lot of ways. It's a beautiful statement to bring your values there. So we want to cultivate positivity in yourself. We're finishing up here shortly. There's a gift to yourself and others. You want to experience pleasure, seek gratification from accomplishing something, and find meaning. The way I like to summarize this is you like to have what we consider the pleasurable life. Did you have fun? And then we talk about the good life. Did you get something accomplished? Did you get something done? So pleasure. Did I have fun? Did I get something done? And then did you find meaning? The meaningful life. The meaningful holidays. So we can have a fun holiday, a good holiday, and a meaningful holiday. If we can put those all together, it's a real positive experience for your best self. So find yourself some pleasures, find something to accomplish, and tie it in with your values. And this can be done in a number of ways. So I'll finish up here with trying to summarize our entire series. Stressed less, some of the things we talked about. Acknowledge your feelings. Be mindful, good and bad. We have to be aware. Reach out to others. Let's all work together. Be realistic. We recognize, as Erica said, it's not all joy and happiness. There are bumps. Practice forgiveness. Give yourself permission. Budget. It's important to not forget some of the things. And budget doesn't just apply to finances. You have to budget your energy. Budget your time. We do have to plan. A lot of planning. Plan ahead. Think ahead. A lot of this series has been very deliberate about planning our healthy behaviors.
I think also sometimes planning can get you into trouble just because there's so much going on that you could think about, oh, this event starts at 3 and then this one starts at 5 and how am I going to get there and what if I'm late? And planning can help in you breaking it down and breaking the timeline, but also sometimes it makes you see that you've got a lot to do. And then you worry about being late to things or letting people down. How would you work around something like that?
Well, then my first thought is did you include yourself in the plan?
Ooh.
That some people forget. We're talking here. What's your gift to yourself? Some of the thoughts you said, I'm worried. Well, I would be worried if I had not included myself in the planning.
Yeah.
But it is important, and then give yourself permission to be late. And to prioritize, as we always talk about. But people do get overwhelmed. This is why some of these things, you have to take a moment to step back.
Be kind to yourself as well as to others.
As well as to others. How can I bring out my best self? And we didn't ask the question, my worst self, and sometimes when we get overwhelmed, I have myself, and I will admit, sometimes I'm walking into a party, and it's my third one in a row, and I'm walking in the door perhaps not at my best.
It happens.
It happens. And it takes some planning and say, well, how am I going to be at my best? Because I don't want to feel overwhelmed. So I clicked to the one say no. I was waiting to click that one. Because that is what we do. We say no, and don't abandon your healthy habits. If you're doing good things, let's keep doing them. Your best self, focusing on that. It's both a time to start, but also a time to continue being, the self that you are. Let's talk about the 3 A's of contentment. We want to acknowledge good, which is being grateful. We want to appreciate the good. Be mindful. Be grateful. Be mindful. Then let's amplify it. Let's see if we can grow that through that, to be content. And whether that's good, sometimes I do like it even with the healthy activities. Well, I acknowledge this is a good thing to do. Boy, I really appreciate that somebody brought out that plate full of vegetables yesterday. And how can I amplify that? Often through my good mood and to sharing with others and to see that good mood. So we want to bring that sense of contentment by gratefulness, mindfulness, and sharing and compassion. So in practice these good intentions, we realize that it's hard to do. We'll take a few questions in a second. Let it pass if there's a bump, and forgive yourself. So we'll take a few questions. I just want to thank you all. This has been a wonderful series and very well attended. And for all of my cohorts like Erica, and special thank you to Denise Williams for putting this all together. Okay, yeah, we're going to take a few questions here. That have come up, a handful of questions. I really like everything you're saying, but for the first time this year, I'm having trouble being happy. It seems like just another thing to work on. I'm worried something might be wrong. How can I get myself on track? It's a very good question. We do want to acknowledge sometimes the holidays are very stressful. And in that situation, I would say reach out for help. Sometimes we cannot do this by ourselves. When you're having that emotion, there are many places you can reach out for help. Here at the university, we have our faculty and staff assistance and employee assistance programs, but you can reach out to your faith-based networks or your friends and family. So I would always recommend, if you're worried, and it is sometimes I've got too much on my plate, reach out. It's a very simple message. Reach out to somebody and say, look, I need some help getting back on track. Now I'll finish with one more question. It sounds good to not do rituals that I don't like, but what if everyone around me expects me to do them? Should I put my happiness first or theirs? Well, I think you can take two approaches to that. One way is to put your happiness first and say no. That is another way. Give yourself permission to disengage. Sometimes we get caught in that and letting people know. And the other is to focus on your emotions and saying, well, what is it that I don't like about this ritual? And see if I can modify how I feel with that ritual or go somewhere in between. Excellent question, which brings up the complexity of some of the holidays where we really do want to focus on happiness for all of us and sometimes find there. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the new year, and we'll have more MHealthy webinars. And that's the end of our 'Tis the Season webinar series. Have a happy holiday.